the phrase that comes to mind is the virtue signaling of wearing a mask. You better wear a mask, and if you don't, you're a bad person. And there's Joe Biden and Anderson Cooper on stage. Pavlina, we got to play this tape because it actually turned out to be a former CNN employee who noticed last night that Anderson Cooper and Joe Biden thought that the network had cut to a commercial. They had been keeping their distance throughout the event last night, but then appeared to get within inches of each other, no masks, as the camera zoomed out, going to a break. There's a guy named a CNN digital producer who now works as an editor with Fourth Watch, Steve Krakauer. Steve Krakauer wrote, Joe Biden and Anderson Cooper are making a point of social distancing during the CNN town hall while on the stage. But when they think they've gone to commercial break, they get so close to each other that Biden is whispering in Cooper's ear. And I'm honest to goodness, well, I'm going to send this off to Pavlina. We're going to get it up for you and play it on the stream if you want to watch this. Probably wouldn't surprise you, would it? If you heard that or thought that Biden and Cooper are leaning into each other and whispering in each other's ear. You know, I'm not a scientist. I'm no Anthony Fauci, but I don't think whispering in somebody's ear is social distancing. Of course, they're outside, right? Because they're in a drive-in. I'm telling you, we're in a loony bin. There was a lady yesterday in the Publix grocery store. I can't get this out of my mind. And she's just proudly marching through Publix. She doesn't have a mask on. Young lady, but she's in her 40s. She had boots on. She's pushing a grocery cart. Very attractive lady. She's looking around. They're making an announcement on the PA. You have to wear a mask. And everybody does. Everybody in the grocery store has a mask on. Everybody working, all the customers, not her. And when the announcement came over the PA system, I kind of looked at her. I didn't mean to. I wasn't like trying to shame her because I recognize that this is such a volatile issue for people. The left doesn't understand it because the left wants you to comply. A lot of other normal Americans on the right, in the center, they're like, we're not China. I hear people all the time, I'm 45 years old, people will say, I've got no underlying conditions. I'm not going to get near anybody who's vulnerable. Don't make me wear a mask. And believe me, we go back and forth and everybody yells about it. And I've seen videos online where people are literally fighting each other. People scream at each other and, you know, you don't have a mask on. You do have a mask. Don't make me wear a mask. They dragged a guy out of a South Dakota school board meeting the other day. The police came, I kid you not, you may have seen it, literally physically dragged the guy out of the school board meeting because he wouldn't put a mask on. And he was a real big guy too. I was worried for the police who are in an absolute no-win position because they're dragging the guy out. And but that's where we are. And it really does strike me as pretty profound to consider what America is. We're not a compliant nation. We don't say, yes, government, we shall obey. You know, we're supposed to obey the scientists who, as we all know, hammered away at the beginning of the year, masks aren't going to do anything. You don't need to wear a mask. Now they're up to, you better wear a mask. Redfield's literally saying he used the word guarantee not to transmit the virus. And of course, they don't want you to wear an N95 mask, which, as I understand it, has 95% effectiveness, but they want you to wear a cloth mask. Back to we got to save the N95 masks for healthcare workers. Oh, really? So if you buy those KN95 masks from Amazon, you're depriving healthcare workers of masks? We're in a loony bin. We are in an insane asylum. An insane asylum. And the left's belief, I think the reason the mask has become such a political hot button is because there is a difference between the left and what I think are other normal Americans when it comes to sort of the mindset of Democrats, the simpleton, you better do whatever they tell you to do and you obey and you comply or else. Don wants to touch on that here in the ReliefFactor.com studios. Hey, Don, how are you?
Good. Good morning. How you doing? It's first time call.
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it is a mindset, Mike. When you say simple, being simple, you can approach them in the most simple, most logical, drawn out, one through things where anybody could get the point, but they just can't get it because their emotions are so bent on, what they want. They don't want to. They're willing to sacrifice anything for the cause, and even if it is a bad cause, they just want to look good.
Well, I just wish, for example, I wonder if anybody will ever get around to asking Anderson Cooper, okay, you and Biden are on stage last night, 10, 12 feet apart the whole time, but once you think the camera is off, you guys get close together and Biden is whispering something in Anderson Cooper's ear. That's not social distancing. What's wrong with those two? I mean, nobody will ask him that. We've got the video. I'm going to give you some time. If you're by a computer as you're listening to us on the radio, you can see this video clip at MikeOnline.com when you click Watch Mike on TV. Honest to goodness, and this was caught by a former CNN employee, and it's gone viral. People are talking about this clip, how Biden and Anderson Cooper making a big deal. Look at us. We're 10 feet apart. We're in a drive-in. We won't even have a crowd. You got to be in your car. There were evidently 35 cars in a minor league baseball stadium parking lot in the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area. So you got to sit in your car in a parking lot to watch the man who wants to be the next president be interviewed by Anderson Cooper in an outdoor venue. Now, compare that. There's Trump in Wisconsin, crowd not wearing masks for the most part. Of course, President Trump doesn't have but they didn't have a mask on either last night. So here's this video. If you want to check this out, there's Anderson Cooper. They're going to a break, and they go to a wide shot, and the segment is over. They're 6 or 8, 10 feet apart, whatever they are, and then they go to a break, and then they immediately go right to each other. And Biden leans in and is whispering in Anderson Cooper's ear. Let's play this video.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more questions from our audience for former Vice President Joe Biden. Thanks.
They're there. They go this big wide shot. They're both scanning each other. Biden and Cooper start going toward, and there it is. Joe Biden literally leaning into Joe Biden's ear and whispering in his ear. Now, again, not trying to be a jerk here, not trying to be the male version of Karen. They're not socially distancing. Why don't they social distance? Oh, you mean maybe they thought the cameras were off? So they're like in different zip codes when they're on camera, but when they think they're in a break, Biden literally walks up and they both lean into each other, and there's Joe Biden whispering in Anderson Cooper's ear. What do you make of that? What do you make of that? 1-800-655-Mike. I'm serious. Tell me a little bit about what goes through your mind when you see that what appears to be a crack in the armor of those who are convinced that you better slap a mask on, you better stay home, you better not go out, you better not live your life. This is like Crazyville.